Good morning, class 7. How are you guys doing? I hope you all are doing great. Wish you all a happy Navratri of 9 days, and then your puja starts. Navratri, Navami is the last puja, right? So, after that, you have your Dashara, and I pray, may Goddess Durga bless you and your own family, not about only for these 9 days, but for the 9,000 years to come. And you take care of yourselves, and all happiness and blessings come on your house and your whole family. To wish you all best of luck for your pujas. Enjoy your pujas, happy pujas, and I'll do my online classes with you. Okay, so I know you won't be interested in studying now, but it's just to keep you in touch with it. So, chapter 9, religious beliefs. We have already done the part where we were doing about the tribes and the tribals, how things took place, and about the Ahoms and the Ahom part and everything which we did. So, now we have come to the religious belief. What did people believe in it actually during that time? So, we'll go and look into that. I'll read through and it's all about reading and understanding. Okay, so you have to read it as a story and understand. Two religious movements spread across India during the medieval period. What was that? These were the Bhakti and the Sufi movements. Bhakti, we have done some part of it, and Sufi movements is also there. Bhakti means devotion, devotion towards God. Bhakti. The teachers or saints of Bhakti composed hymns and sang bhajans and glorifying God. The Sufi saints too expressed their devotion through music. Saints of both traditions taught people to help those in need and lead a simple life. In fact, the word Sufism and Sufi comes from the word Suf, which is a kind of a coarse garment worn by these saints. These two movements influence the life of people in a big way. It's a rough type of cloth which they used to wear as a garment. It was called Sufism. Sufi, he is a Sufi. You will see that long type of cloak they wear, and they have this long type of hat before the hat, and Sufi songs. You have the Sufi songs sung very well. Kailash Khair sings Sufi songs. Our Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan sang Sufar Ali Khan, his son. Liaquat Ali Khan, or what's his name, Aman Ali Khan, I don't remember his son's name, but they all sing Sufi songs. Bhakti songs are also there, bhajans are there, kirtans are there. So the Bhakti tradition, we'll first start with the Bhakti. The Bhakti movement became, and see, both of these things they always taught to lead a simple life and spread word and help people, those who are in need. Sharing is caring. The Bhakti movement became popular in South India from the 8th century onwards. The Alvar and the Nayanar saints popularized it. They came from different castes and followed different professions. They preached the path of surrendering oneself to God. The saint poets traveled from place to place singing hymns in praises of different gods. The Chola kings built temples at places visited by these saints. The Cholas. There were three parties at that time: the Chola, Pandyas, and the Cheras. Bhakti saints. During the early medieval period, Sankaracharya and Ramanuja spread the message of Bhakti in South India. Sankaracharya believed that there is no difference between the soul of God and the soul of human beings. The way to salvation was through knowledge. Ramanuja taught people to put themselves completely in the hands of God, and that by loving God and doing good deeds alone could the soul be saved. He considered bhakti to be more important than knowledge. In course of time, the bhakti movement spread to other parts of India. The saints preached their messages in regional languages. This made them very popular amongst the masses. Namdev, Tukaram, Gyaneshwar, and Eknath popularized the worship of Vithala, a form of Vishnu. The worship of Vithala, a form of Vishnu in the region present day Maharashtra. Chaitanya composed many hymns in praise of Lord Krishna and popularized Krishna Bhakti in Bengal. He emphasized music as the most important means of expressing bhakti. Tulsidas and Surdas were devotees of Ram an avatar of Vishnu and Krishna respectively. Mirabai, a Rajput princess, was a devotee of Krishna. She composed numerous bhajans expressing her love and devotion for Krishna. Read one of them given in the box on the next page. Shankaracharya had made peats for learning, and we have to come to know about it. Mutts, they were called mutts. The four peats and mutts of Shankaracharya, the speaking tree. One is at Odisha, the Swargdwar. The four mutts of Shankaracharya: Badri Kashram, Jyotir Peeth in north, Dwarka Sharda Peeth in the west, Govardhan Peeth Puri in the east, and Sri Sringeri Sarada Peetham in the Chikkamangalore district, Karnataka. Jyotish Peeth was the Govardhan Peetham, the Shankaracharya Mutt. These were the of Shankaracharya. Four mutts of Shankaracharya. If we say that the speaking tree which you see on the Times of India newspapers, you will come to see that. And we see some information there as well. But peets are the places where they went and delivered their songs and they did their bhajans. And Shankaracharya established four peethams or mutt, the mutt of peeth at four directions of our country. One was at Puri, the Govardhan Peetham. One is in Gujarat. First one was at Puri, and then one was in Gujarat, Jamnagar, located at Dwarka. One is at Uttarakhand, which is located at Badri, the Jyotish Peetham, and South India in Sringeri, that's Karnataka. The four peeths all over the world. Shankaracharya did this to give information about the Bhakti movement. Teachings of the Bhakti saints. What did they teach? Selfless love and devotion are the means to come close to God. Selfless, don't be selfish. Purity of heart and mind is important. Closeness to God cannot be found through ceremonies, rituals and sacrifices or by giving up the world. You will not get God through ceremonies, rituals or sacrifices. You will not get God. You have to be selfless. You have to love people. You have to do good deeds. Karma is dharma. Then only you will get God. That's what I also do. I am not religious, but I am spiritual. I believe in that supernatural power. I believe in God. And I do good deeds. I try to do good deeds so that I don't hurt anyone and I get the same thing in return. All human beings are equal. See, they are also saying the same thing. God did not create high or low caste people. We have created it. Nor did He create Hindu or Muslim. So people should be tolerant of one another. Share the pain of others. Try to understand the pain what people are going through. Try to lessen it. Try to help them out. Helping fellow human beings is the true form of bhakti. Knowledge is an essential part of bhakti. It can be gained through a teacher only, through a guru. I am only a sharer. I am not a guru. So I share information with you. A devotee can express bhakti through devotional music. Okay, so that is what it is. So here we have life without Hari is no life, friend. And though my mother-in-law fights, my sister-in-law teases, the Rana is angered. A guard is stationed outside, a lock is mounted on the door. How can I abandon the love I have loved in life after life? Mira's Lord is Girdhara. Why should I want anyone else? Mirabai is singing for Krishna. Even though I am teased, I am locked inside and all, my love for Krishna is nothing less. Okay. Then we come to Sant Kabir. Kabir's Dohas, the mystic poet and philosopher. I love Kabir's Dohas. Sant Kabir Das was perhaps the greatest saint poet of the Bhakti movement. He was probably born in Kashi, Banaras, now Varanasi. We have very little information about his early life. Though there were many legends about him, some believe that his mother was a Brahman widow who abandoned him, and then he was adopted by a childless Muslim couple who were weavers by profession. It is true. They taught him the weaver's trade. Some sources say that he never got married, while others believe that he was married and had 2 children. So many stories. I'll come back in the next video.